people, yes, people you may know, come together and Dali show. Oh, colors of life, share love, share love, share love. Oh, you African people, yeah.
All you Southern people,
Inspiring us,
united,
South Africa. That's the reaction to that. Colorful people, people of the South, yeah.
Tonight on People of the South, we present Grace, starring the First Lady of Zimbabwe, Grace Mugabe. Our special guest tonight is born in Benoni, in South Africa, where she stays until the age of 5. She marries while still in her teens, but the marriage was not to last. Grace Mugabe goes on to do some secretarial courses, and it is here that her destiny changes. During a recruitment drive, the 20-year-old is selected from a bevy of hopefuls to work in the office of the state president of Zimbabwe. Working in the president's secretarial pool, she soon catches Robert Mugabe's eye. They become closer, fall in love, and begin a relationship that bears him the 2 children he always dreamed of having. 4 years after his wife Sally dies from kidney failure, Grace and Robert Mugabe marry. And in 1996, she becomes Zimbabwe's new First Lady. An intelligent woman, viciously protective of her husband and children in the face of a decade of media attacks on her family. She has, by her own admission, been toughened and developed a thick skin in the process, and what used to hurt her no longer does. Instead, she has quietly propelled herself into charitable endeavors of scale, using her influence as First Lady to create a children's village, a school, and is now planning a university. To some in the Western media, she has been labeled disgrace for her alleged extravagance in the face of poverty. But for others who know her closer to home, she is a lady of energy, elegance, and effervescence, whose charitable and social work have earned her the mantle of amazing grace. Tonight on People of the South, we say and present Grace.
sorry.
Where do you find the children?
All the children, these children, most of them are from hospitals, and of course some were adopted from other children's homes.
What inspired you to do this?
Just moving in the city center, and I realized that the number for children on the streets was increasing. So I said, somebody should do something. If really I'm not going to play my role, I think this is going to be a disaster for the country.
Yes.
And these are our leaders, they're leaders, our future leaders. So I said I must do something, at that moment.
Right. So you're the mother of all of them.
They are my children. They are my children. I'm going to have more, because we have all these facilities for the children. But here, I try my best. I emphasize my own standards.
Yes,
my own standards.
Because they're very well dressed.
Very neat. And I buy this
trendy.
very much so. This is what I want for them.
Yes.
And show the people that I'm not just doing it for charity.
Yes.
For people to say, my Mugabe, she's doing charity work, but I'm doing it with all my heart. They are Zimbabwean children. They are our children.
Yeah.
So we must look after them, the way they should be looked after.
A businesswoman and a dairy farmer, I found Grace Mugabe to be a woman of considerable beauty, who speaks frankly and openly with self-confidence and constant humor. She is a young First Lady with an easy laugh and a busy manner. Grace Mugabe dedicates a serious amount of her time to the children's village she created. I sat down with her to talk about life with the president and asked her how she became President Mugabe's personal assistant, lover, and wife.
I had done secretarial studies,
Yes.
and then I got a job because they, from the president's office, they would come to colleges scouting for, the top flight secretaries. So
Yes.
I was happy, lucky to be one of them to be selected after the interview. So
Right.
we started working together, and, I worked in his office for a long time.
Did you, on a personal level, think the Prime Minister's a fairly attractive guy?
I actually, at that time, I looked at him as a father figure, to tell you.
Yes.
I did not think at all he would even look at me and say, I like that girl. I least expected that, honestly.
How did that happen? How did romance blossom?
Just like any other man, he just started, talking to me and asking me about my life. Were you married before? Things like that. But I was just saying, he's my boss. He must ask. He's just interested to know more about me. And I didn't know it was leading to somewhere.
But you yourself, did you get a bit
I was quite a shy person. Very shy.
But you still must have...
Even if you see my daughter, and my kids are shy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, they're very shy.
But amongst your colleagues in the office,
yes.
they must have said to you, Gracie likes you.
No.
No.
They didn't see that.
Really?
He's, he's not a person who would, show it. So they didn't actually know that
I see.
at all.
Whilst love blossomed between the couple and children followed, Robert Mugabe was still married to his late wife Sally, who was terminally ill at the time.
You were both Christians.
Yes.
And he was still married to the
Yes.
late Sally
Yes.
Mugabe.
Yes.
Was it not? Did you not feel a bit?
I felt a bit, uncomfortable, and so I talked to my sister about it.
Yes.
And he ended up calling his sister, who is late now, Tete Sabina.
That's right.
And my sister, because I was actually saying, no, I wouldn't want to really get into this kind of relationship. You're married. So he called my sister and his sister. We talked about it and convinced me. So things started.
Did the two of you ever discuss? Sally knows. What is she feeling?
He told me that they had discussed it and they were sort of agreeable one way or the other. They discussed that. Of course, she knew I was there. She knew the children were there. That's what he told me. So I'm sure they had come to some agreement of some sort.
In 1992, in a period of great heartache, Robert Mugabe's first wife, Sally, dies from kidney failure after being on dialysis machines for over a decade. 4 years later, he marries Grace in a ceremony with a long guest list.
When you did decide to do it,
Yes.
you did it big, did you?
I don't think so. I don't quite have really the good memories or best memories of my wedding because I think there were too many people.
How many attended?
They told me there were about 40,000 people. Yes, the road was just jammed. And the priest even did not arrive in time because the road was jammed.
Didn't that spoil it for you a bit? Wouldn't you have preferred a small, intimate?
Yeah, that's what we wanted. But, everybody, when they heard that the president was going to get married, everyone wanted to see for themselves, witness for themselves.
Was the cost of this 40,000 feeding?
No.
The feeding of the 40,000
No,
was that prohibitive?
It wasn't that astronomical at all. Yeah, it was quite a modest wedding, to tell you the truth.
Really?
I don't even think some people even ate food.
I see.
Yes, because some just came uninvited. They would get crashes, so
Did you find that the press, in meeting you for the first time,
Yes.
were equitable with you?
I should think so. Locally, yes, I think they were equitable, but they started writing about all this rubbish about me, you know. There's this English proverb that fling enough dirt and some will stick. And I think, you know, because they saw me as an opponent and, you know, if you attack your opponent repeatedly, some of the accusations will be believed by people. It used to hurt me at first.
Did it?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I would go, you know, through excruciating moments that they don't know me and all these things saying about me. I don't really do this. I'm not the person they talk about.
I mean, some of them were saying, for example, as a new First Lady, you were shopping all the time on your travels.
Imagine.
Extravagance.
Exactly. And is it possible for one to spend $1 million in an hour? And where do I get that $1 million from? I was shocked. This all started, I think, after the land reform program because they thought that I was the soft target. They tried to say a lot of things about my husband. He has an account in Britain. He has a house in Malaysia. He has a castle in Scotland. But they found nothing. And so my husband was saying, if you ever find a needle that my wife has, take it. But I'm not really what they say I am, and I'm actually surprised to hear what some of the things they say, that she's a very lazy person, she's always eating. I don't go for all these massages, I'm telling you. I work so hard, I have no time for all these things to pamper myself. I do my own clothes, I tie my own headscarf, and they say I buy it, but those are very cheap fabrics I buy, and I tie my headscarf.
What would you say is the most in a day you spent on clothes?
On clothes, I'm not always buying, but what I do, certainly, I buy fabric.
Right.
The fabric I buy is not that expensive. And then I sit down, I design my own clothes. I actually design my own clothes, and I give somebody to make. I also make some. Yeah.
But First Ladies do enjoy Harrods and Knightsbridge and places like this.
And you know what? It's one place that I've never bought an outfit.
Harrods?
The only thing I've bought in Harrods, almond nuts, because I eat lots of almond nuts. I want to eat, you know, healthily. So
okay. So you go into Harrods, you buy almond nuts.
Yes. And I go out.
Later.
They say she's bought clothes worth £1 million. That's crazy, isn't it? You know what? If you have a child and you're beating them every day, they will develop a thick skin. So really, they're thinking that they're hurting me, but I've developed a thick skin. I don't even care. My husband says, no, you know, ignorance is bliss. Don't read that. Why do you read that? Yeah. In
the early days, it hurt, obviously.
Of course, because I was new in it. And this lady had written a book that... Heidi Holland. She had written a book she entitled Dinner with the President, and she was granted an interview with the president, and only to go away and write a lot of nonsense about the president, all lies. I don't understand.
Did she write about you as well?
She did. She's the one who was writing that I'm always eating. And I don't work, I'm lazy. I don't know where she got that from.
Have you ever met her?
No.
Would you like to?
She's dead.
Oh, is she?
You mean to say you want me to die and meet her in hell? I don't think I'll go to hell.
But you did take legal action against a couple of newspapers, didn't you?
No. You know, it wasn't me. You know, when they started writing about that I'm having an affair with the governor of the Reserve Bank, you know.
Were you having an affair with the governor?
Oh, please. Oh, no, please. It's not nice. It's not right. He's just, he's the governor of the Reserve Bank of the country.
So it was totally...
No, because the things they were saying were ridiculous, and the places they were saying we go to. Yeah. I've never been to those places in South Africa, in Malaysia, other countries. The only time probably we traveled with him on the same plane was the time we went to obtain this Smart Partnership conference in Langkawi. So he was on the plane with us. That's the only time I remember being with him in the same country, outside Zimbabwe.
Wasn't that the deepest cut for both of you?
No, because they lies. They don't know our private life. They don't know how we live. We are a happy couple, I'm telling you. We are very close. We get along very well.
But it must have been a deep humiliation to have
not really. We're used to it. It wasn't the first time. They always talk about these things.
So you're quite a steely
I think I'm a very strong person.
Because that kind of thing would break a lot of people.
Exactly. I never had an occasion where I would break down. Never.
Have you ever had to sit with the president and say, look, you see all this stuff? I need to know you trust me. I need to know that you know.
No, I know he trusts me. There's no need for me to do that because I know he's the one who was even more, concerned because he thought that being a woman and probably young, I would be affected. He was worried for me.
There's this saying, there's no smoke without fire.
Yes.
Are you saying there is smoke without fire?
I should think so because they just want to hate. It's all directed at us, hurting us.
How do your children take it? Because they're out there in different parts of the world and they obviously read some of this.
They just read. I know sometimes probably it hurts them because they know the kind of person their parent, their mother is or their father is. Welcome to Grace Mugabe Junior School. It's quite a big school, which is about 8,000 square meters. It's uniquely designed in such a way that each teacher has his or her office. So we can actually safely accommodate about 1,000 children if you wanted to.
Grace Mugabe has not only taken to building schools, but has also built a large family home and has come under constant media fire for its largesse and grandeur.
Could you perhaps have said to each other, okay, look, given the economic circumstances,
yes,
we won't build a big house. We'll build something fairly modest. Just so that...
You know what? We started building this house way back. It took us almost 12 years to... It's not even complete yet. Yes, it took us a very long time, but because we are farmers, so as we sold our produce, we bought materials to continue the construction.
Is it a palace?
It's not really. It's not really what they say. I'm telling you. They
How
have
many bedrooms?
Always 9 bedrooms.
Okay.
Only 9.
They
would
say
say
30.
No, they're 9 bedrooms.
Right.
Only 9.
Because if you're to believe the press out there, you and your husband are multi-millionaires worth about $200 million.
Where do we get the money from? I want them to tell me where I get the money from. I work so hard. Because I realized that my husband is, is literally a civil servant. He doesn't earn much.
Yeah.
If you only knew how much he earns, he earns very little. And for me as well, the allowance I get is just a pittance. I'm a business-minded person. Yes. By the way, I have said I support my husband. He's a politician, but I do run our private business.
What kind of?
We are into farming and
dairy farm.
Not just dairy. We do cropping as well.
And cattle, beef.
We have quite a number. And to tell you the truth, all these are just gifts to us. When we go to that province, they give 2 or 3. That's how we have managed to build our beef herd, which is over 2,000 cattle. Wow. Yes. So we have those, and we do farming big time. We grow wheat, we grow maize.
So is that where your supplementary income comes
Exactly, from? Yes.
It's not diamond mines or...
That's what they say. That's what they say, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm not even involved in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did these sanctions affect the family? freezing of assets in Europe, not being allowed to travel.
What assets? We don't have assets anywhere.
Right.
This is what they say.
Yes.
Because they want to say Mugabe and his wife, they're so extravagant, so much so that they don't take care of their people. Right. They're amassing wealth and they're busy going on shopping for properties outside. But we haven't got a property outside. Even here in Zimbabwe, the house we built is the only house we have.
Yes.
Unless they're talking about these ones.
What do you love most about your husband?
When he talks and, he's a person who is very articulate and very confident. And I think I love that, when even when I'm with him, you ask something about a subject, you want him to elaborate. He's so good.
Some people say he lacks emotion, that he's very insular in terms of his emotions, doesn't let them out.
No, I think it's more that he's a very cool person, collected, he's unflappable, you see.
Is he?
Yes.
Yes.
So
even by you can't flap him?
I have said before, we live normally, just like any other couple. We sometimes, if our disagreements is a couple, so all these things that happen in your family, they also happen to us as a couple.
So you have rows.
Exactly, we do, yes. He's saying, I want this, I say, I want that, and I think he thinks I'm very tough too. I think he's a very, surpringly, he's a quiet person too. He's very quiet, so I do most of the talking.
If you could,
yes,
capture the attention of all those people who have read all kinds of things about you in the West.
Yes.
What would you say to them about the real Grace Mugabe?
It's probably a bit difficult to convince them because I don't think they don't know what I do here. Because, of course, a lot of even white people in the country have visited. And one white lady, she comes here to do all these, the flower beds, planting. She says, First Lady, you're doing a fabulous job here. So I feel that I must be part of it. So she comes here. They certainly know exactly what I'm doing. But they don't want to actually... portray a positive image of me. I must be a very bad person, being Mugabe's wife, who is supposedly a cruel person. So he married also a very cruel somebody who does not care about the poor. But really, I am a person who is, as I said, who is hardworking. And when I do the work, I do it honestly. And I'm not doing it, for me to get publicity as such, but I do this, because I always say I've been really privileged to be the person I am, the first lady of the country, and so I just say that I'm using, my position to actually benefit, these less privileged children in the country. So I am a person who wants to work for her country, and I think I'm not that kind of person who is devoid of love. And you can see, what the kids actually do when I get to them. They love me so much, I think, and they are not forced to love me. They just feel that she's done it for us, and they just feel the love when I get there. So I'm trying to use this position to, better the lives of other people.
Yes.
So for me, it's a privilege. I'm very happy to be who I am today. I know you can't say everything must be spot on, everything must be, as I would have wanted things to be. But this is life. Life is like that. It's ups and downs. So I always tell my husband that I'm very grateful that you chose me, for your first lady, and I am, and when I work, I'm complimenting what he's doing, what he has already done for the nation, and so I'm fortunate to be who I am today. opportunity. I hope you like the vegetable. You don't eat.
What about being the daughter of a very famous president? What are the upsides and what are the downsides, in your opinion, Bona?
The upsides, it's just normal, actually. It's not much different in terms of how we are as a family. But when it comes to maybe the outside, people expect you to behave a certain way.
How do they? As a lady, I suppose.
No, yeah, as a lady, they think you're not human.
Not you?
Yes, they have high expectations of you.
I see, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So any mistake, then they'll judge you.
Really?
Yes.
When I asked the president yesterday which of his children was most like him,
Yes.
he said you.
Of course, being
Is
a
that
girl.
correct?
I think, yes, to some extent.
In what way what do you think he means when he says you're more like him?
I think he's very relaxed and calm.
Yes.
And he doesn't panic in any situation.
Certainly.
Are you like that?
Exactly like that.
She's like that.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Very, very, very composed. Very composed.
Really?
Yes.
And what do you see as the mum when you look at Bellamy?
Bellamy has his father's looks, but one thing that I really want him to do is to concentrate more on his studies. And I remind him that you are probably what you are because of one person. We are in the status because of your father. So I don't want you to ride on your father's back for, all your life. I want him to change his ways and work hard.
Change his
He's
ways.
quite a clever boy, yes, but he likes to play games all the time.
Which games?
Sleep late. I don't know. I don't even know what he does. I used to, I avoid going to his room because I don't want to be disappointed.
How much time would you say do you spend on PlayStations and games? How much on study? 50-50, 60-40?
You must balance the time.
85-50.
Which one is the 85?
The game.
How many minutes did you say?
85%.
85%. Okay, be honest.
On games, go.
He says
85%
On games.
of his time.
Is it pressure for you? Do you feel I'm a bit under pressure because I'm Robert Mugabe's son, he's an intellectual. Do you feel like I've got to live up to my dad's expectation?
Yes, I do.
And do you see that as pressure?
Not exactly, but then I know that since he was smart, I can be smart enough.
Because you've got his genes.
So like, both of my friends are smart, so this way I can be dumb.
He's quite. He's a smart cookie.
If a young man takes your daughter's fancy and she comes to you and said, "Dad, this is so-and-so, and I'm thinking about marrying him," what sort of qualities would you want to see in her choice?
I regard any such approach as one from a wolf. It's come to. She's one of my lambs. That's the feeling.
Really, yes. So you're quite protective then?
So quite protective, but certainly, well, it must be a person of her own choice. But my hope would be one first as qualities of a good husband. Yes. Will live with her because he loves her through thick and thin, and not just look at her now as she still is that flower, attractive,
Blooming.
She will have kids, and quite a lot of what is now the real charm will disappear. And the face will start having wrinkles. So we should not pit her at that time against up-and-coming younger ones.
Would it be
Which is what most people do, and as a result you get lots of divorces.
Is it high in Zimbabwe?
Oh, terrible.
Pathetic.
Terrible, pathetic. You see, people get married, a year they're divorced.
They're divorced.
Wow.
Yes.
2 years they're divorced. And you ask yourself, where are we going?
It is beautiful to see you as a family together.
Yeah.
Mr. President, how do you feel when the price of your political life is sometimes fostered on to your family so that your wife is attacked or your children and things? Does that hurt?
Well, it has when it goes down to the children, and even when my wife is attacked merely because she's married to me.
Yes.
And all kinds of things are said, filthy, you know, things are sent onto the internet and so on and so forth.
I told you yesterday that he tells me that ignorance is bliss. Don't even read it.
But you have lost your temper sometimes, haven't you?
Me, I want to protect my children. It was all about protecting my daughter. I don't usually do that. I never did that before.
You mean to punch that journalist?
I had to, because really
How many times did you punch him?
I don't remember, but I really don't know what happened. I had this
energy.
energy.
You know, it was not enough.
Yes.
For them to impose sanctions on us.
Yes.
As parents, but they went on to impose sanctions
on
our
children.
They can't travel, etc.
Yes.
And even now to find out,
they're following us all the way to Hong Kong. Yes.
And try to find out where they are being sent to school, and this is what hurts us most.
And then I saw one of my, of course, bodyguards talking to a person holding a camera, and so I called him, and I said, "What is happening here?" He said, "No, they had taken photographs of you as we were seated there." So as we were actually on our way out, they were following us and making pushing us to run, and we actually ran because that's where they actually wanted to take photographs and say, "You look at her, the number one shopper." The first shopper, you see, they don't put lady, first shopper. So we actually hid in a corner and we tried to call the other security in the hotel. Unfortunately, they did not respond. So they saw us and started running towards us. So I said, "No, enough is enough. Why are you treating us like this? What wrong have I done?" So I said to this guy I was with, my bodyguard, "Run, please, take his camera." But you know, he thought I was joking.
Yes.
And so he didn't know that I sprint. Yes. You see, so I ran actually, after him. And then I caught him.
Yes.
I started beating him. And he was pleading with me to get the camera. "Please, you can get the camera." I said, I didn't answer. So I kept on punching him.
Did it feel good?
No, because it's not really in my nature. I'm not naturally. I'm not like that.
Yes.
But I had to do it because they pushed me far, so I had to do it.
Donna, would you tell your dad, not me, but to him, tell him why you love him so much?
Well, firstly, he's unlike some other fathers. You have always been there for me, whether it's emotionally or even financially. He's always taken care of us. I have everything I need, not one day have I ever had a problem with him. Your nature is what I love the most, I think. You're a very calm person, as I said before. You're well educated, you're a strong person, and you always fight for what you believe in. Yeah. And that's what I love the most.
And would you tell your mum why you love her so much as a mum? What makes her special?
What makes you special is that when you're younger, you feel like, I felt like you were tough, a bit too tough. But as I got older, I realized that it's actually better for me, because now I'm a very grounded person, and I will also be just as strict with my children, because it pays off in the end.
Mr. President, would you return a compliment and tell your daughter?
I really love her. I love you, Oma.
Love you too.
You're very gentle. Very gentle, very obedient, very calm, and very devoted also to your studies. And you're an achiever. You're an achiever. You're very trustworthy.
Yes.
Absolutely trustworthy. You really ask for gifts. And it is on those just very, very rare occasions that you surprise me with a request. Yes. And of course, I always
Like the boys.
find pleasure in meeting your request, and so on.
But I mean, tell your dad why Daddy is so special to you and what you love about him.
I love the fact that when you're eating all the time, he doesn't eat without asking, have I eaten? Have I bathed? The fact that he comes to my room, he comes to say prayers with me. If I ask for something, he'll always provide. He'll always be there for me. I know that even if he's in the office and I need something, I can always go to him, even if he is busy or if he is having a meeting or something. He'll always find time to say, Bilamin, come in. I also love the fact that if I sleep and I'm outside the blankets, he'll come and tuck me in.
That's lovely. And Mum?
You will always find time to call even if she's outside the country. She'll never spend a day without asking how my day was, how I am. If I'm sick, she'll be the first person to do anything to provide medicine. And she helps me with my books. And really, those subjects that I do all because of her.
Now, when she takes your PlayStation away, do you get mad or do you start reading?
I don't get mad because I know she'll give me back.
Each time I travel before, he would get sick. He's so close to me.
And Bellamy?
Bilamin, yes. Bilamin, you're a kid, I realize. I don't quarrel with him, nor do I raise my hand to slap him.
Never.
Never.
I leave that to the mother. And I have always said, if the two of us, descended on him, that might ruin me mentally. But there must be one hand, you see, which is tough, and another which is soft. But he has not made me happy. In the way he takes to his studies, he should be more serious than he is at the moment. But I know he's growing up. He'll acquire the habit of study.
Yes.
But he must start to acquire it now, to have it now. And and not wait until some day when it dawns on him to do much better than he's doing at the moment at school.
Yes. Would you take your husband's hand?
Yes.
Because when you think back, it's been almost like a Cinderella story, hasn't it?
Sure, yes.
And your life took off.
Yes.
Would you take your husband's hand?
He doesn't want me. I've always, every day, I'm one person who speaks openly. I always tell my husband how much I'm grateful, to him.
So would you tell him for us now?
For him having chosen me as his, wife. You're very loving, you're kind, you're generous, you kind of like you've brought me up, and you know that I appreciate, everything that I've been able to do. It's because, it's not that because I am a well-organized person or I am good at planning, but I've used the position, being the first lady of this country, I've tried to use it to, benefit, the less privileged in this country. Whatever I do it to complement the work you're doing. But I'm really happy to be your wife, and I feel blessed to be part of your family.
Mr. President, would you take her hand and tell her why you still love her and what she means to you?
He likes my hands. He loves them.
I always, handle her this way.
Yes.
I made a choice, and she knows it. When I said I wanted to marry her, I said to her that from that moment on, if I had any girlfriends, I would leave them. And that's what I have done, to recognize you and you alone as my partner. Whether you believed it or not, but that's what it has been. And I have valued the transformation that you brought to my life, and the kids that you gave me, the happiness that they brought, is the happiness you brought. And I've remained very grateful for that. And that is why sometimes when perhaps you tend to be angry with me, or perhaps I've not acted as quickly, as urgently as you thought I should on certain matters, I have not reacted. I've just kept quiet and allowed your own anger to
wane.
Yes. And this is how we have lived.
Certainly.
And I do hope that we will continue that way, and that our children also benefit from our oneness.
Yes.
But that you also benefit from, and the little that you can learn from me.
Yes. A little.
That interaction.
Yes.
And that also even our relatives can learn from us.
Yes.
Our marriage life, marital life should be, and especially the younger ones. Please continue to love the children, but of course, above all, to love this boyfriend called Robert Mugabe.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, he certainly is. He says that when I get angry, you talk like this to me. I get angry, I get sometimes tantrums. Yes, and he comes, darling, this,
Mr. President, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for you. And for you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both very much
Yes.
for this wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, with the President of the Republic